The Hmong have been an unknown civilization for many generations according to many researchers. There is no extra evidence as to where the group originated from, except for oral stories that have been passed down from generations to generations. There are several theories as to the origin of the Hmong people. In the late 19th century, Christian missionaries proposed the theory that the Hmong were one of the lost tribes of Isreal. There is no extra evidence. According to linguistic and genetic evidence, the Hmong have lived along the mountainside of southern China for at least 2,000 years. The Hmong are considered as one of the earliest Eastern Asian groups that have inhabited the area northern of the Yellow River in China as early as 3000 BC. According to C. Tao, the author of the Hmong Genocide and Immigration. According to researchers, the Hmong migrated to Thailand and Laos to escape personal persecution. In China, the Hmong also face the same thing. They face many obstacles and challenges, such as assimilating to the Chinese culture and government, causing them to flee. The word Hmong means free. In China, Hmong were known as Miao. Miao, meaning barbarians, is used to identify the Hmong in early China. Today, the word is still used and can be offensive. The Miao or Hmong is considered as one of the largest minority groups in China, who have lived mainly in Guizhou, Yunnan, Hunan, Hubei, and Henan provinces. Today, they can be found in America, France, Australia, Thailand, and Vietnam. Hmong are divided up into several branches, such as Black Hmong, White Hmong, Straight Hmong, Green Hmong, and Blue Hmong. The differences between the branches are the clothing and the dialect, green and white. Green and white are the two different dialects of the unified Hmong ethnic minority languages. It's kind of like speaking British English and American English. The difference between Green Hmong and White Hmong is that White Hmong speaks in a more sharper tone, like English, and are widely spoken among White, Black, and Striped Hmong. The Hmong group is also branched off into clans for their last names. Our children acquire membership into the father's clan group at birth. Hmong women acquires the clan membership of their husbands when they get married. There are about 18 Hmong clans. Some of the most common ones are Vangs, Changs, Lors, Changs, Kus, Kongs, Kangs, Hers, Hangs, Lees, Muas, Taos, Vus, Zhongs, Yangs, and Fangs. The Hmong believes in strict exogamy. Strict exogamy meaning the person must be married outside of his or her clan group, not by the same last name. Religion and culture plays an important role to the Hmong people. The Hmong animists who practice shamanism and believed in the existence of individual spirits. They also believe that everything in nature is a spirit, which in combination is mighty enough to control their lives. Life was seen as a continuous circle of birth and rebirth. The Hmong believes that there are two worlds, the physical and the spiritual. The spiritual world coexists with the physical world. The spirit world consists of many types of spirits, such as ancestral spirits, household spirits, nature spirits, and evil spirits that can influence the human life. The Hmong also believes that a person has a certain number of souls that can function as one unit to give life and health to the individual. For some reason, if this relationship is ever to disrupt or unbalance, the person will become ill. Shamanism is a traditional belief and practices concerned with communication with the spirit world that has been practiced throughout many generations in the Hmong culture. In the Hmong culture, a Hmong shaman is a traditional healer who travels into the spirit world to determine and treat the spiritual of diseases or sickness. The sickness can be determined by bad dreams, fatigue, weakness, or loneliness. The shaman can cure a sick person by retrieving the lost or captured souls of their ill person in a special ritual ceremony. When a shaman performs a ceremony, he or she goes into a trance and veils his or her eyes with a black cloth to see the spirits, so they can communicate. They then sit on a bench and faces the altar and calls for their teacher spirits to come cure the person. According to many elders, anyone can become a shaman. Men and women, and even children, can become the chosen one through long periods of sickness by the spirits. It does not matter what kind of sex, age the individual is. The shaman who diagnoses the chosen one becomes his or her master shaman teacher. After the chosen one agrees to become a shaman, the illness then can be cured. It takes many years for the chosen one to learn the chant and procedure of a shaman. It takes at least 3 years of learning to know the sacred chants and procedures of the shamanic rites, as well as the name and nature of the legion of evil spirits who bring harm and suffering to mankind. The Hmong believes that a person is thought to have a selected time on earth by God and receives documents to come to earth as part of a given family and clan. Because of this, ritual ceremonies are very important in the Hmong culture and traditions. Ritual ceremonies are usually performed to please ancestral spirits. By pleasing the ancestral spirits, the Hmong feels it will bring them good spirits to the family and will protect the family's descendants from illness and natural disasters. The Hmong believes that each New Year festival, a special ceremony must be done to honor the protective house spirit, Sika. The Sika protects the family from receiving bad luck or illness. Because of this, each year, a chicken sacrifice must be made to worship the ancestors and to take the bad spirits away, to bring good luck and good spirits to the family. Also during this time, a rooster ceremony and tree ceremonies are usually performed to take away the bad spirits and to bring good luck to the new year. The Hmong also believes in afterlife, which is why Hmong funerals are very sacred and must be performed with proper guidance. During Hmong funerals, Hmong instrumentals such as the qeej are usually performed to send the soul of the dead and the spirits to heaven. The qeej is kind of like a guidance that helps lead the soul to the right direction, so that the soul will come back to their ancestors for reincarnation. Oftentimes, the Hmong will question why they came to America. The reason for this is because of their involvement in the Secret War. The Secret War was another war that began in Laos, with the spread of communism between the Communist Pathet Lao and the Royal Laotian government. In early 1960s, the United States Central Intelligence Agency began to recruit, train, and lead the Hmong and Laos to join the fight. General Veng Pao, a Hmong historical figure, was asked to lead and recruit an army known as Special Guerrilla. They were asked to help break right along the Ho Chi Minh Trail, one of the most deadliest and dangerous trails to cut off North Vietnamese supply lines, and to help rescue missions to save drowned American pilots in Laos. By attacking these supply lines, thousands of U.S. soldiers did not die. Then in 1974 through 1975, the U.S. began to withdraw troops, military weapons, and financial support from Laos, leaving the Laotian and the Hmong to depend on their own. By doing so, weakened the Royal Laotian government and the Hmong army, who depended on that support. General Veng Pao, along with other political leaders, have fled to Thailand because they have sided with the United States in the Secret War. Eventually, after they left, the Pathet Lao took over Laos, leaving the Hmong army and the Royal Laotian to flee for persecution. They eventually fled to Thailand for refugee camps. Refugee camps are very small, barbed-wired, crowded camps that the Hmong had to live in before coming to America. The conditions in these camps were harsh and no sanitation. There are many refugee camps in Thailand. The most well-known one was Bambinai. It had about 40,000 people, and half of the residents were minors, with 1/3 of these minors were children. Houses were built next to each other, one family living in one room. Because there were limited spaces, many families had to share houses. About 8 or more families would have to live under one house, causing illness to be easily spread. Children living in these camps lost the experience of growing up in the mountainside of Laos. Then, about December 1975, the United States began to accept Hmong refugees, recognizing the sacrifice made by the Hmong soldiers during the Secret War. By the early 1990s, about 100,000 Hmong refugees had entered the United States. Most are settled in California, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Today, where approximately 250,000 Hmong are in the United States, and a similar number still live in Laos, with over 5 million are in southern China.
Persecuted and scorned behind enemy lines, a small child is born. What will he live for? Fighting for the rest of his life. Gunshots, chemical bombs, will slice with a knife. Shrapnel within flesh, children poisoned to